Battle Royale games like PUBG and Fortnite have taken the world by storm. In a Battle Royale deathmatch, 100 players scavenge for weapons to kill other players before getting killed themselves. And the last player or team standing is the winner. What makes PUBG so great and so replayable is that the game is different every time you play. You land in different places with different distributions of loot, so you always have to think on your feet, just like in real life. This style of emergent gameplay is a far cry from typical fighting games, where the arena and the weapons are tightly controlled by the designers. Although Fortnite is better known, PUBG is the original Battle Royale game. So what's the magic behind PUBG? Well, I got some clues recently when I had the pleasure of sitting down with PUBG creator Brendan Greene, also known as PlayerUnknown. Listen in and find out how PUBG was first created and how it grew into a massive worldwide hit. Brendan Greene was a player, not a professional game designer, and he was frustrated by fighting games with small terrain maps that were easy to memorize. Inspired by realistic battle games like America's Army, Brendan created a mod of the post-apocalyptic survival game DayZ, and he called it DayZ Battle Royale. Got that name from the popular movie Battle Royale. That mod took off like a rocket and evolved into the hugely popular game PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, now known as PUBG.
For me, it was just creating this unique space, creating this space that was unique every time and providing the players with just a very basic set of systems that would give wonderful emergent gameplay. And to do that, it couldn't be you knew where every pixel on the map is and where to throw things pixel perfect to land other places on the map. I wanted to create the direct opposite, which was you never knew where the map was going to finish. You never knew what weapons you'd be able to get because you don't know what weapons are on the map. It's almost like poker, right? Where you all start with the same deck, and depending on what cards you get, you can win. And in poker, like in Battle Royale, you don't necessarily have to have the best cards to win. That you can play your opponent if you're smart. There are no real restrictions there. You can play the game the way you want to. There's no linear path there for you. It's whatever you want to do. And I think that's a big draw for a lot of people. Because it's emergent and because it's just a bunch of stuff that you can interact with and create your own story. A lot of the designers did not understand that at the start. And they were told, oh, well, this is not the way we were told to make games or taught to make games. And I remember being in one meeting where they asked me, what percentage of players do you think should have a sniper rifle by the final circle? And I'm like, I have no clue. I guess the amount of players that decide they want to go crate hunting to get one. There's no way that I could tell that because I can't read the minds of the people. And emergent design in general, it's not loved by game designers because they don't have control. It's you're giving the users a bunch of systems and you can't control what will happen. Just that level of imagination that you can get by just giving the player a set of tools, to me, is it drives me. It's creating these like emergent places, these places where I don't control anything. I just give you a set of tools and you create. That to me is very exciting.
Unlike typical video games, PUBG is hard to beat. That means you lose most of the time, but it also means that winning is far more meaningful.
We made a game with a 20% win rate, which is unheard of. It has to be 51%. You have to keep the player happy. And I think that one of the best quotes I saw about PUBG was like someone was explaining the difference between Call of Duty, and they said, look, Call of Duty, they put in so many incentives to make you feel like Rambo. They make you feel like a great player, even if you're not. PUBG just says get better. That's what I love about it. It's a space where anything can happen, and you tell your own story and you create your own action. Ultimately, the PUBG is a game of decisions, right? It's do I pick up the pistol or the shotgun when I first land into a building, and then maybe you pick up the pistol and you don't manage to kill someone with a shotgun, and then you hate yourself and you're going bloody hell, but then you're queuing for the next match. So most times when you die, it's generally due to something you've done wrong. And I think that incentivizes people to come back and play, but also, and I think it's because it triggers an adrenaline response. When you get into that top table or into that top 10, you really feel it. And it's not just dopamine. It's at the end of some matches, people, and they're literally shaking because getting to that final 2 or final 3, maybe losing out or winning, it's a massively driving experience for a lot of people. I think it's why extreme sports are also so popular with some people, because that's this hit you get right after winning.
When you've got a game that's designed to embrace emergent gameplay, the physical environment doesn't have to be tailored to a particular storyline. And that means that you can focus on creating realistic, interesting worlds for the players to explore and enjoy.
Building these kind of worlds, it starts off with some good lore. It starts off with just trying to tell a story of the world. And building the worlds for PUBG, and again, I borrowed a lot from Arma, where you're just building a realistic space. Like the worlds in Arma are based on real life locations for the most part, and they scaled them down, sure, but they look like a real world. And with Erangel, which was named after my daughter, actually, Erin, it was designed as a relatively realistic space. It was just doing a rough layout, and then we would just go and source images for this kind of area, what kind of fields you want, looking at borders. And there was just a lot of, we even went to the Czech Republic. Erangel was, we first made it, was quite bare. There wasn't much to it. It was like there was buildings in the middle of fields with no set dressing. Most game worlds have to have lots of things to do, things to entertain the player. Our world is just a world. It's an abandoned world, and there's loot on it. And that's where we derive the depth of gameplay, is from the loot you provide rather than having interactable things to do in the world. And when you're building a world like that, I think it's not that it's easier than building a stereotypical like sandbox open world as in Assassin's Creed, where you have to worry about almost every square inch of the world. When you're building a world where Emergent takes precedence, it's a different challenge. Compared to paintball, like I can give you a set of paintball equipment and you can pretty much go and play paintball anywhere. And I look at Battle Royale, it's the same. Like when I made it in Arma, I had a settings file at the start where if a new community map came out, I would change a few settings and then you could just drop the Battle Royale game mode on top of this new map. So yeah, for me, creating these kind of worlds, it was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
It's always a good idea to listen to your customers, right? Well, that listening loop is even more important when your players are the ones figuring out how they want to play.
So we had a very vocal community, even from the modding days. And that's been great because they're not afraid to tell you what's up and what they like and what they don't like. Having that kind of connection to the community, in my opinion, is super important. And now I do believe that as the creator of the game or creators of games, that you have to make sure your vision is solid and it's true, because when we're making PUBG, we have a very specific type of game in mind. And we will listen to the community. We listened once where we were trying to make the game fairer, and we were delaying the speed at which you could drag stuff into your inventory from the ground to make it more equal to the F key. And the community got back in touch and went, look, this is a mechanical skill. How quick I can drag stuff into my inventory and order it, this is a skill I can learn. And delaying this or trying to make it equal to the F key is not the right way to do things. So we've been really lucky in that the most vocal people really care about the game. And it is important to separate kind of those that want to make the game easier for themselves and those that just want to improve the game in general. And our esports world has been great. They created what they call super settings, which is a standard PUBG rule set for esports. And that was all of the teams coming together and working with PUBG to come up with a set of rules that everyone felt was fair. And it was just a shining example of how community interactions can really pay off for your game. And yeah, it was a collaborative effort. I wouldn't say it came from the bottom up, but the teams really had a lot to do with making sure it was fair. There was a great deal of unity there, which was lovely to see.
Emergent games like PUBG and EVE Online are harder to design and tune than conventional games. But when you get it right, the reward is an endlessly replayable experience that mimics the freedom of real-world play. And Brendan is now thinking even bigger. He's imagining a vastly larger world with more freedom for players to go anywhere and do anything. And if you think that sounds like the metaverse, you're right. We'll be covering Brendan's metaverse ideas in a future video, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. For more about Emergent gameplay, check out these videos next. Let's get smarter together. I'll see you next week.